They sell us the president the same way they sell us our clothes and our cars. They can be counted on to tell us who our enemies are, but they're never the ones to fight or to die, and there are lives in the balance.
Welcome back. It's the Will and Willie Show pre-primary election special. I'm Paul Wells, here with Willie Brown, who has been a San Francisco icon as long as the Golden Gate Bridge has been in existence. Willie Brown's been around.
Icon, is that a new Apple
Yes,
device?
we're icon. And of course, Will Durst, who's one of San Francisco's most brilliant comic and political minds.
Not an icon.
I like the idea of being on your iPhone. Somebody can hit it, and if they hit it, it goes right to you.
You can have a Willie Brown app. Have
Yeah,
someone write you an app.
Can you imagine? That's a great idea.
I want a Will Durst app.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
I Durst.
You know,
I
forget
Durst.
the icon. Let's go to be an app.
Yeah.
Well,
So we spent the first
segment
segment talking about Proposition 28.
right, and we're going to get into presidential politics on this one. Do we want to touch briefly on 29, which is
Well, just interesting about 29 in that all the money.
all the money.
All the money. I mean, look at these beautiful flyers. These are the
And the
no
TV
on
spots.
29. There aren't a lot of yes on 29. And if you look at the back, paid for by no on 29, Californians against out-of-control taxes and spending, major funding by Philip.
Also known as.
Major funding by Philip Morris and
Philip
R.J.
Morris and
Reynolds.
RK.
Yeah.
Also known as Philip Morris.
Yeah. So it's, and I love the ads. I don't know if you've seen the ads. You know, they're with this. It allows money to be spent in other communities, and no money goes to little puppies. None of the money written in Prop 29 and.
The people who drafted
Trying
Prop
real hard.
29, though, should have guarded against those kinds of attacks. You literally have to guard against those kinds of attacks because you know they're coming. You know the other side has the most creative geniuses in existence, and they make a percentage of everything they put on the air. They hire the people to stand up to make the remarks.
The doctor that's in all the ads. I'm not in favor of smoking, but this is a bad bill.
Yeah, and I'm for fighting cancer, and I've fought cancer all my life. But let me tell you what, this one is not the vehicle that we need. And it's really overwhelming. It has driven the numbers down dramatically. And I would guess that, it's going to be devastating, ultimately, on the effort for $1 a pack. But one more thing, though, the Indian reservations are looking forward.
Because they can sell cigarettes without paying state or federal
You
taxes.
got it.
Yeah.
You got it. You got it. You
That's
got
where I
it.
buy all my cigarettes. I go up
got
to
it.
Reno. I'm at the Indian tobacco stores. But I'm down to 5 cigarettes a day, mostly because I live in San Francisco. You know, is that a cigarette? No, it's a joint. Well, it better be. Now,
It is for my shakes.
Do you think Prop 29, because it went from Prop 29, voting for Prop 29, went from like 65% approval down to 53 in the last poll. So do you think it squeaks by on Tuesday?
I think that Prop 29 still has a good chance of passing, but only because it needs 50 plus 1.
Right.
The merits on why it should pass is all on the side of the yes.
Yeah.
The people are far more creative and far more clever and far richer on the side of the no. And believe me, money talks, and this money has been talking. Wall-to-wall television ads, wall-to-wall radio ads, publications and printing, absolutely beyond belief, and none of it's schlocky. All of it is pristine. And as a matter of fact, I was chatting on the streets with some guy, I guess it was on Sunday, and he was convincing me that the proper vote, based on all the material, was a no vote. And I looked at him, I said, but aren't you for? Oh, yeah, no. I like cancer research. I will do this, I'll do that. He said, but it's clear that this is not the right vehicle. Whoa, I said, those people are really sincere.
Yeah.
Well, this is a sophisticated guy, and He's always been on the side. He used to give me hell for being an extension of the tobacco industry. And he's now
Bought in.
totally.
Totally bought
Totally,
in.
totally.
Totally bought into it's flawed. It's flawed legislation. Willie Brown, your column last week in the Chronicle, you headlined "The Thrill Is Gone," and you.
Well, you know, first of all, columnists don't do the headlines.
Okay.
The headlines are done by
Some
True
other
enough.
guy.
No, it's the same
and
people that
paper.
write the obituaries.
Yeah, it is. It is for the most part.
Yeah, for the most part. Same people that write the obituaries do the headlines. So you don't do the headlines. However, my column said that the buzz surrounding the mystique of Barack Obama that we all experienced in 2008 doesn't exist anymore, and that his presentations seemed stayed. They seemed like they are over-prepared, and they never wander off. There's no spontaneity. There's no creativity. There's nothing like our friend Bill Clinton used to do. Clinton made you believe that what he had said 1,500 times in 1,500 other places, he was saying it for the first time here.
To that crowd.
That is correct. That is correct. Like Will Durst is a comedian, and believe me, you can see him 15 times, and you'll laugh harder the 15th time than you did the first time. And in many cases, it's the same material. Well, Barack Obama doesn't have that skill. He's so intellectually fabulous, et cetera, et cetera. It's almost as if politics is really so disgusting to him that he wants to get out of it as quickly as he can. And if you want to get out of something as quickly as you can, you really don't lend a whole lot of talent to it. You just kind of.
You go through the paces.
That's right.
One of the features we did when we did morning radio was what would Willie do? What would Willie do if you were President Barack Obama and his campaign staff to turn that around, to re-energize the base, to move them forward in this election? Can it be done? What would you do?
I would, tomorrow, bring all the troops home from Afghanistan. I'd say, hey, what a mistake this was. I'm on my way. We're on our way. Whatever amount of time it takes you to get here, that's a different story. But I clearly would move and get out of Afghanistan. Secondly, I would take full and complete credit for canceling your student loan. You know that loan, Paul, you've been trying to pay for the last 20 years? I would say your loan is canceled, period. And we're going to figure out a way to let you cancel that loan. And you know, and if we can bail out these banks whom we wouldn't let fail, they ought to give us back the opportunity to not let you fail. I would do those kinds of creative things, and it would stir the mind and imaginations, and it would cause, I suppose, Romney to borrow one of his wife's 2 Cadillacs.
You know, he does have, Romney still has a problem with campaigning. I mean, he's got the wishy-washy problem. He's got the extra pages in his Kama Sutra to keep track of all of his positions because he's been all over the map. And he's also squishy. He's hard to pin down. And then he'll go to a picnic and criticize the woman's cookies. And he made fun of people at the Daytona 500 because they were wearing plastic ponchos. And I see he's sprung for the big bucks for those raincoats. You know, I just wonder if he can really get the American people behind him because he doesn't look like a guy.
Okay, but so far, he hasn't had to do that because the world of politics is really focused on Obama. Obama's got to get away from having to run against himself. He's literally having the Obama candidacy define the campaign. He needs to have Romney as a guy trying to take the job away from the guy who's done it. Oh no, Cory Booker was terrible. Yeah. I mean, he said, wait a minute, I'm not going to criticize those private equity people. What Cory Booker really should have said is, as the mayor, I got 2 deals pending with the private equity people.
To move to New Jersey.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah. and therefore, it's just one of those things I can't talk about. Well, if he had said that, we would have all understood it and would have been appreciated. Instead, he questioned whether or not it was appropriate for Obama to be going after the private equity people. it is appropriate for them to go after the private equity people. They invariably do not contribute a whole lot to the ordinary working class collective that we are concerned about in America. They are people who cleverly and appropriately under our system make a lot of money. Why would you bother to think that they can vote? I'd be more concerned about the captain.
The guy who lost his job.
That's right. That's right. And Barack Obama needs to establish in the minds of the public what Huckabee said, and that is that Romney looks like the guy that laid you off. And I would have Romney laying you off. And by the way, if I'm Barack Obama, he's trying to lay me off now.
Well, Romney, there's a lot of ammunition. There's Bain. There's the photo where they have all the money stuffed in all their pockets. It was, I think, the first day of Bain, or they have a big deal or something. So there is the ammunition. Is that what the summer is going to be about?
I think so. I think that when the public really focuses on this campaign, I think Barack Obama will appropriately conclude that he has the black vote locked up. He's close to having the Latino vote locked up. He's got the 18 to 34-year-old almost locked up.
But they never vote.
Yeah, but that they did last time, 2008. He got them out. And if he will concentrate literally on his base, including women, and it may be that he needs to have that conversation with Biden that causes Biden to become the Secretary of State and Hillary.
We'll continue this in the next segment.
Oh, my.
Oh, my. And talk more about the Republican Party and where they're at. It's the Will and Willie Show with Willie Brown and Will Durst. I'm Paul Wells. Stick with us. We'll be right back.